Everyone, it's me again, Liz. For all of you who are new to my channel, I am a math teacher here in the United States of America. Today we'll be talking about solving quadratic equations by the quadratic formula. But please do check out the other videos. I do have some math tricks that might help you guys out there. Before anything else, let me invite you to subscribe to my channel, Simply Mommy Lizzie, if you haven't done so. And please do like my videos and share them to your friends. I do appreciate it. Alright, when we solve quadratic equations, we use the factoring method. We can also do the quadratic formula. Also, completing the square method can be used, or the graphing technique. Alright? Now, we will be talking about quadratic formula in this video. But let me remind you, once again, I have told you about this in my previous videos, that the roots or the solutions we're looking for in solving quadratic equations can be at most two numbers or values. What do I mean by that? It means to say that there are problems that would give us two answers or two values. Okay? But it cannot be 3 or 4 or beyond. Also, there are problems that would give us only one value or only one answer. In some cases, there are also problems that would not give us any real number answers. And we'll talk more about that in my next videos. Okay? Now, you have to remember though that when we use the factoring method or quadratic formula, we should be aware that the quadratic equation should be in standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Now we know that x is a variable and a, b, and c are called constant, but I'll just put constant for c because more specifically, a and b are called the coefficients of our variables x squared and x respectively. Alright, don't forget that we need to rewrite the equations first in standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, before we proceed to our main topic, let me again practice you with how to rewrite quadratic equations into standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Notice there that the variable x squared is written first, okay? And then the next is the term with the x variable only. And finally, we write the constant in the end, then equals 0, okay? So let's take a look at number 1. We have 2x plus x squared plus 2 equals 0. Now this is pretty easy. We just have to switch x squared and 2x. And we'll keep 2 equals 0. Okay? Let me just try to rewrite that clearly. Alright, there you go. Now remember the x term here. Any variable that has no exponent has actually an exponent of 1. Alright? Okay, how about number 2? We have b squared plus 3 equals negative 2b. Now notice that negative 2b is on the other side of the equal sign. Therefore, we are going to apply the property of equality to get rid of this term on this side of the equal sign. Here, I'm going to add 2 plus 2b to both sides of my equal sign, because negative 2b plus 2b, that becomes 0, correct? And in standard form, our equation needs to be equal 0, okay? And then I'm going to write b squared, because that's the variable with the highest exponent 2. And I'm going to write 2b, this one here, because I just added it up to the left side of my equal sign, plus 3. There you go. That's my standard form for number 2. Easy, right? Alright, let's proceed to number 3. That's pretty easy. I'll just keep x squared plus 3x. Then I'm going to get rid of negative 4 by adding up plus 4 on both sides so that this one becomes 0. And I just added plus 4 on this side. That's quick. All right. Finally, now notice that when we transfer or transpose a number from one side of the equal sign to the other side, the sign just changed. Okay? So, for example, I just moved negative 4 to the other side of the equal sign, and it becomes positive 4 there. That's the shortcut way, but technically we are applying the property of equality. That whatever we add or subtract on one side of the equal sign, we have to do it as well on the other side of the equal sign. All right, finally, 0. So I'm going to get rid of this negative 3y. I'm going to add plus 3y. I'm going to add the opposite or the inverse term. Since I added plus 3y in the right side of the equal sign, I'm going to add plus 3y also here in this side of the equal sign. Now, since this is positive 2, I'm going to add the inverse. So the inverse of positive 2 is negative 2. I will also put negative 2 on the left side of the equal sign. This becomes 0. That becomes 0. Now I have y squared plus 3y minus 2. That's it for our practice with rewriting quadratic equations in standard form. Are you guys ready to do or to learn about quadratic formula? Let's go. Now the quadratic formula is this. It's x equals the quantity negative b. Notice this one, plus and minus. That means to say we will end up with two answers. We will do plus first, then the other way minus the second time we do it. All right? So negative b plus and minus the square root of the quantity b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now I won't show you how we derive this formula, but if you would like to, we can make another video for this. Make sure that our equation is in standard form so that we can get our a, b, and substitute them to our formula here. Okay? Now I placed here at the top, for those of you who still can't remember or memorize the formula, I place it there on the top. Let's answer numbers 1 and 2. Okay, let me put a divider here, and I'm going to use a different pen for number 1. Solve the following quadratic equations by their quadratic formula. The first thing I need to do is to make sure that my equation is in standard form. So notice it's x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Correct? It's already in standard form. The next thing that I'm going to do is identify my a. Now, x squared doesn't have any number before it. So if in that case, the coefficient is automatically 1. Okay? How about our b? Our b is the coefficient beside the x term, which is 5. And then our c is 6. Okay? Now I'm ready to use my quadratic formula. I'll just put negative. It says here at the top, negative b. So my b is 5. Don't forget to write the negative sign before 5 because it's in the formula, or else it's going to give you a different answer. I'll just put plus and minus the square root of b squared. So my b is 5. I'll replace b with 5 minus 4. I'll put parentheses. A is 1. That means to say I will multiply later on. C is, what's our C? 6. All over 2 times 1. Now guys, when we do, it looks like complicated, correct? Always remember your order of operation, your PEMDAS rule. We do the inner part of our formula, which is in that square root sign. Okay? So I'll just copy -5 plus minus 5 squared is what? 25. 5 times 5 is 25. Minus 4 times 1 is 4 times 6 is 24. And then what is 2 times 1? 2 times 1 is just 2, right at the bottom. Okay, I'll get rid of my square root symbol for it to become easier to look at. So 25 minus 24 is actually 1, correct? Okay. And then finally, the square root of 1 is just 1, right? I'll just put here x equals -5 plus minus 1. So I just got rid of the square root of 1, which is basically 1 over 2. Now the last step that we need to do is to solve for x, right? So that's x equals -5 plus 1 is -4 over 2. That's actually -2. Now let's go to the other one. -5 minus -1 is -6 over 2. That gives us -3. Therefore, the answers that we're looking for here are x equals -2 and x equals -3. Okay, I think I might need a larger space for number 2. So I'm going to erase, I'm going to erase that part there, and I will just write the answers at the bottom. Okay, just a second. So our answers here are x equals -2, x equals, we're running out of space, -3. That's actually -3. Right. Okay, for number two, we should be rewriting this first in standard form. That's going to be b squared. I'm going to move this to the other side. That becomes plus 3b plus 2 equals 0. This is standard form. My a is 1. Notice b doesn't have any number here, so that's automatically 1. My b coefficient is the one beside the b term. That's going to be 3. And c is +2. I'm going to apply it to my quadratic formula. That's going to be -3 plus minus. My b is 3, so I'm going to put 3 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 2. And then I'm going to put 2 times 1. 1 is because of a. So that's going to be -3 plus and minus. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. 4 times 1 times 2 is 8. All over 2. Now we know that 9 minus 8 is just 1. So the square root of 1 is, when I get rid of the square root symbol, it gives me 1. Now the same thing, what we're going to do is, I'm going to operate on -3 plus 1. That would give me, we'll go here, x equals -2 over 2, which is -1. And the other one is -3 minus -1, which is -4 divided by 2. which is -2. So there you go. The answers are -1 and -2. In this case, we again have two solutions. Let's take a look at our next example. X squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. It's already in standard form. Our A again is 1 because x squared doesn't have any coefficient beside it. B this time is -4. Gotta be careful with the signs. C is 4. Now my formula is x. It says negative of -4. We'll talk about that really quick later. So -4, since this is negative, I would enclose it with parentheses. 4 times A, which is 1 times 4. All right. Now, the negative of -4 is positive 4. The negative of -4 is positive 4. That's because negative times negative is positive, plus minus. -4 times -4 gives me a positive 16. Minus -4 times 1 is -4 times 4 is 16. Now look at that. 16 minus 16 is 0. So that's actually 4 plus minus 0 is 2. So 4 plus 0 is 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 4 minus 0 is 4 divided by 2 is 2. In this case, we only have one answer, 2. Okay, that's what I'm talking about earlier in this video, that we can end up with only one answer. Finally, let's take a look at this. This is pretty much tricky, but if you could see, everything can be divided by 4. By property of equality, if we can divide everything on the other side by 4, we should also divide the other side of the equal sign by 4. Now 4 divided by 4, that gives us 1. -16 over 4, this is going to be, we'll just keep the negative there, this is 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 0 divided by 4 is still 0, okay? So basically, I'm just simplifying this quadratic equation by my basic knowledge about fractions. So now I have x squared minus 4x, because I'm using the top numbers now, plus 3 equals 0. Okay, now I will advance to my quadratic formula. Okay, by the way, let's not forget, A is, again, 1, B is -4, C is 3, okay? So if I apply my quadratic formula, that's going to be my B is -4, so the negative of -4 plus minus B squared. B is, again, -4, so I'm going to enclose that in a parenthesis. 4 times 1 times 3. My C is 3. That's 3 over 2 times my A is 1. So I have x equals negative of -4 is positive 4. -4 times -4 is positive 16. Minus 4 times 1 times 3, that's actually 12. 2 times 1 is 2. Now, I have to get rid of my square root. 16 minus 12 is 4. Now, the square root of 4 is what? The square root of 4, what's going on here? Let me erase, because it's at the very bottom. It's not. That's actually 2. So we have x equals 4 plus minus 2, because the square root of 4 is 2. finally, that's gonna be x equals 4 plus 2 is 6 over 2, which gives us 3. And the other one is 4 minus 2, which should give us 2 over 2 is 1. Therefore, what we're looking for here are 3 and 1. These are the answers for our quadratic equation in number 4. Okay, that was pretty long, but I hope that I kind of helped you guys. Thank you, and again, please do subscribe to my channel, hit like and share this video to your friends. Until next time, see you then.